What is up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Hey, if I haven't met you, my name's Jeremy. I'm an entrepreneur and financial advisor, and to my surprise, by far the most popular video I've made to date is titled Working at Northwestern Mutual. And I wanted to follow that up just in case there are people that actually desire this content. And that video that I made was me sharing a testimony of how God used my time at Northwestern for his good, for my good. I'm basically sharing the silver linings. And the reason I wanted to follow that video up is because there are people that sometimes ask me, hey, should I work at Northwestern? Especially when I was there, but certainly since then as well. And it's not just unique to Northwestern, it could be other firms as well. Most big box firms operate very similarly. And so I wanted to kind of share a video. Hopefully it doesn't come across as a diss track, because I actually am very thankful for my time at Northwestern. And generally speaking, I'm not like super jaded against the financial industry at large. Like, I do work for myself. I started my own RIA firm, and I prefer my operation to the way that a big box firm works. But it's not like this ultra superior moral high ground that like everything else is trash and this is the only way is my way. So like maybe there's a little bit of jadedness, but hopefully not too much. Hopefully not too much. Just very genuinely, if someone asks me, should I work at Northwestern? The answer is probably no. It's probably no, and I want to share why. And it's kind of two sides of the coin. For 80, 90, 99% of the people, the reason why you shouldn't work at Northwestern is because it's not suited for you. Like, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to last. Northwestern and other firms, they'll make you feel so good. Like, they'll butter you up, and this multi-stage interview process, and you got to dress with a suit and tie, and we're going to talk about company culture, and they're going to give you the impression that it's a very selective opportunity, and they'll sell you on the dream of, man, this career that is better than your current career or better than the job you're considering, and look at this freedom and recurring revenue you can make and unlimited income potential, and so they're going to kind of like, they're going to get you a little bit drunk on the vision, the dream, kind of woo you in with this ooh-ah and make you feel important and successful. And that's already like a red flag. If you're just talking like super straight up job opportunity that doesn't need to like get you in like a fantasy scenario. Like, if a job is only worth taking if you achieve a fantasy version within that job, like, it's probably not the best job. And so, but the recruitment will make you feel like so amazing, right? But the reason why you probably shouldn't take it, one, is you like let me just kind of dive into the nature of the job. But the gist of it is like, you're gonna work 3 times as hard as you would at a normal job to have a chance at surviving. Okay, you don't have to work that hard, but if you don't, you will lose the job. Like, you'll be done in 6 months. So you're gonna have to work 3 times as hard, and even then you'll be making a third of what you probably could somewhere else, and you're gonna have to do that for 3 times as long as a different type of job, to then maybe you've reached this point where it's not quite fantasy, but like you're in like a healthy, happy, sustainable career. And most people can't do that. Okay, just like legit financially can't do that. Like, I can't work 3 times as hard for a third of a pay for 3 times as long, as in like duration of years, before it finally pays off. The other side of the coin, which I'll get into, is like, let's say you did have what it took to succeed at Northwestern. Your success at Northwestern would be dwarfed by your success if you just worked for yourself. Like if you can make it within that context, like you can make it solo and make way more, it not take as long for you to get there, and it not be as hard of work for you to get there. So if you really think you can do Northwestern, just do your own firm. You don't even need it. You don't need a degree. You don't need education. It's one test, Series 65, I think, or 66. I think 65 is for starting your own firm, and the 7 and 66, I think, is for being an advisor under a different firm. Regardless, if you have what it took, just do it yourself. And if you don't know how, like, just Google it, or I'll help you. But most people, you're not going to be able to financially afford a career at Northwestern. Also, emotionally, you might not be able to afford a career at Northwestern. Like, it is a very, very sales-driven culture. And they are really dependent on you being super motivated by how much money you are going to make or can make, which is interesting because they simultaneously are requiring that you don't think about how much more money you would make if you were in a different job. Like, they want you to be financially motivated to do what they need you to do as a sales agent for the organization, but they don't actually want you crunching numbers and being like, wait a minute, I'm getting a totally raw deal here. But emotionally, you're gonna have to call every person you know. And again, if you want a chance at succeeding, okay, you could say, I'm not gonna call anyone I know. It's like, great. You're gonna be done in 1 month in that case. But if you have a list of if it's longer than 10 people that you're like, I want to protect these people from my career at Northwestern, and I'm not going to call them, I'm not going to like make them want to be clients or anything like that. Like, if that's longer than 10 people, you're screwed. Don't even do it. Like, you have to at Northwestern. You don't have to do that if you work for yourself. I don't call a single person ever, ever, ever. Like, I don't. I don't do sales training. Like, I don't do prospecting. I don't do networking. I don't ask for referrals. Like, I don't do it that way. But at Northwestern, you have to, and at other big firms, you do. And you probably won't like that. You won't like that everyone that knows you now keeps you at an arm's length, that people don't feel comfortable around you anymore, that you go up to church and people, you sit in your normal spot and people don't make eye contact with you for as long, and because they're scared of you trying to sell them something. And you probably won't like losing the warmth of your friendships and the breadth of your network. Like, your network will get smaller and your friendships will get colder if you work at Northwestern or any big box firm, if you want a chance to actually stay at Northwestern, even past a few months. So financially, you probably can't afford it. Like, if you're crushing it, I know I said 3 times as hard for a third of the pay, but really, honestly, if you're crushing it at Northwestern, like, you might make net like $15K your first year. Honestly, super honestly, unless you're moving in and you already know, like, there are people already lined up that need insurance that are waiting for you to work there so they can buy from you. AKA, like, if you're a trust fund baby and your dad needs life insurance, then sure, go work at Northwestern for a couple months and take that commission check, but like, unless you already know people that are looking for this and they don't have it already, then yeah, you're really gonna be making low money. And that 15K, like, honestly, like, yeah, there's a lot of costs. There's a lot of gas, there's a lot of food you got to pay. There's the annual conference you got to go to. There's monthly conference meetings you got to go to, the annual ones in Milwaukee that you fly to, book hotel for. And again, you're a contractor, so you don't have to do any of these things, but like you can lose your contract any day of the week. That's why I'm saying, like, if you can make it, just do it for yourself. Then you don't have to worry about giving 50% of your revenue to the company, and you don't have to worry about any day at any point in your whole career the company terminates your contract. Like, just work for yourself. It's so much better. It's so much better. But so you probably, the financial impact, like you really probably can't afford it. Just straight up, you can't afford it. The relational impact, you probably can't afford it. Like, and if you can't afford it, you kind of have to like get kind of cold yourself. You know, like I'm gonna be told no like dozens of times a day. I'm gonna be rejected. People are gonna block my number. People are gonna no-show meetings that they said they meet up with me. Hey, let's get coffee, catch up. I want to tell you about what I'm doing. No show. That's gonna happen every day. Every day that's gonna happen. People are gonna hang up on you, block you, ignore you. Every day that's gonna happen, multiple times a day. And you just have to get like super stoic to it, which affects the quality of your relationships. Like I feel like the longer you make it in this model, like the more robotic you get as a human being. It's like, it's weird and it's scary to witness. I only worked there for about 1 year and 3 months, and thankfully I never sold my soul. Thankfully I never sold anyone anything that was not appropriate for them. Or, like, there's nothing I would like take back as far as like, man, I really lost my sauce for that. But it's easy to, and I didn't make a ton of money, even though I was kind of crushing it. Because no one makes money. Like, you have to work super, super hard for many, many years. And let me get, so relationally, financially. Now, as far as the work itself goes, there's a couple things you probably won't like. One is, of course, like you are a sales agent. You're a contracted sales agent. Now, if you want to succeed at Northwestern, you really can't view yourself that way, because psychologically that's just tough, and other people aren't going to want to meet with you if that's what you call yourself and that's what you believe about yourself. But that is financially, structurally what you are. You're a sales agent for Northwestern. What does that mean? You're not getting a lot of financial training. You're getting a lot of sales training. Your day is not spent looking at financial opportunities. Your day is spent generating sales. Like, 40 phone calls a day, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 client meetings a day, or prospecting meetings, or networking events a day. Every day. There's no like study the market. There's no like, oh, advanced education. Like, you can get advanced education way down the road in your Northwestern career to add credibility to your sales, but it's all still for sales. It's sales, 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 sales. And probably if you want to work as a financial advisor, you don't just want to be a sales agent. Like, probably you want to really like get to know people super well. You want to like get in the weeds of their finances, help them budget. Like, or maybe you like really want to know the market well, and you want to talk about investment opportunities and maybe how can we outperform the market, or how you're allocating your portfolio. And like, you can't do that at Northwestern. You can't. You're just there to generate sales. And quality of work wise, like structurally, Northwestern is a multi-level marketing, or like a multi-level, I guess you'd call it an MLM organization. The multi-level dimension of it is like people get paid to make sales for Northwestern, of course. And you don't get that big a cut. Like, you really, it's a tough deal. But so you get paid when you make sales, but you also get paid when you bring other people into the organization. Recruiting other people that want a shot at this career. You get paid to bring other people in the umbrella. That's the other level of the organization. And every big box organization is like this. And so what happens, like, the reason Northwestern can take 10, 15 people every spring, fall, and summer, and got our new internship group. And interns, that's one thing. It's even harsher when you're baiting someone to literally quit their job, like a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old. Hey, let's switch into this career doing financial advising. Knowing that they almost definitely will not stay in this career because financially, emotionally, quality of work, it's a tough career. Like, they almost definitely won't do it. But one, you're not paying them any salary anyways. You're just paying them on commission. So you don't get paid anything unless you generate income. But secondly, like, you don't care if they last because whatever clients they bring in to Northwestern stay at Northwestern. So all of your bosses, all of the managing partner, the corporate entity, like when I went to the annual meeting in Milwaukee, we filled a basketball stadium with agents, and they had like, I think someone asked a question from stage, like, how many of y'all are first year reps, whatever. And it was literally like 2/3 of the room, like a huge percentage in their very first year. And it's probably like that every year, right? Because it's not even like survival of the fittest, really. But the point is, these extra 1,000 people, extra 2,000, extra 5,000 people, extra 10,000, whatever the number is, that Northwestern as a company is going to hire every year, they're just tapping into that network. And what are the 1 to 2 to 20 to 50 new clients for Northwestern that this person's going to generate, and then they're going to burn out? So you move them out of the way, and now there's more revenue at the top for the people that stayed. Are you tracking with me? Does this make sense? So you don't have to pay for like product. It's not like it's an MLM, like there's a garage full of toothpaste at your house that you're trying to sell people. Like, but the point is, it's a mixed incentive for anyone that would try to recruit you, because they're getting paid to recruit you. And it's also a mixed incentive even if you take the job, because deep down they kind of want you to succeed, but they actually make more if you fail, because they really just want to milk like your contacts and your client generation into their own business. So they don't want you to make it for real. They want you to think you're going to make it just long enough to extract every single client you possibly could out of your network, so that then those recurring revenues from those financial products that those clients purchased, that you were getting a cut from the company for, now older advisors are going to get that cut, even though they didn't do any of that work. You tracking with me? So the nature of the work, one other thing I'll add on that is, like, you only get commission on insurance for a while. So if you sell life insurance or you sell disability insurance, you get a cut. Most people that want to work as financial advisors, they don't really want to talk about life insurance and disability insurance all day. They really want to talk about investments, Roth IRAs, HSAs, 401k rollovers, how much match should I do, yada yada. They want to talk about investments. Northwestern's not going to train you to get your Series 7 and 66. They're not going to even authorize you like to receive like money from your clients' invested assets for a hot minute, a year, 3 years, 5 years sometimes. Like, they're not. So the one thing you think you want to do in your career, they're not even going to let you make any money for. They will still let you sell. I mean, they'll let you work with someone that has an insurance need, but they'll require you to bring in another advisor that's an older advisor at Northwestern that's already received permission to sell the investment products, which you haven't received permission to do. And that advisor is going to get 100% of all the income for that, like all the commission related to any investment product sales go to other advisors. They don't go to you as a first year or second year rep, unless you maybe already have those licenses and you're going from one big box firm to Northwestern. But I've like literally never heard of that. It's usually either people that start out from college or they change their career entirely. They used to be an engineer or a teacher, and now they're going to be a Northwestern rep. So it's all insurance sales. And most people don't need very much insurance. And most people don't want even as much insurance as they probably need. And so the conversations can get a little bit demoralizing, and it can be internally conflicting, particularly if you're recommending something beyond what someone should consider for themselves. But also because like you're not necessarily getting to do the things that you really want to do, and you're not getting to do the things that are going to accelerate this person's financial journey. You're going to add a lot of stability, a lot of safety to, how far is their downside risk. But for most people, they don't have the luxury to just secure the downside. Like, they need to grow. They need assets that will grow. Most people cannot just drop $100, $200, $300 a month on insurance products when they're putting maybe $25 a month in investments. It's like we need, like, just culturally, the firm really focuses on insurance first and then investments. And philosophically, like, I think that's suboptimal. And I think anyone that works at Northwestern, if you want to last long term, like, you have to end up embracing that. And to me, that feels like it feels conflicting to recommend that as the starting point. Like, insurance being the starting point financial vehicle to your financial journey, to me that feels like a conflict of interest. So a little bit of ethical tension, but mainly financially you're just not going to make enough to last. Relationally, it's going to be too painful for you to last. And then structurally, you're not actually getting to learn what you thought you were going to learn. You're not actually getting to talk about what you thought you were going to get to talk about. You're not getting trained on what you thought you were going to get trained on. Like, it is all just MLM, insurance sales, survival of the fittest, but wink, wink, we don't really want you to survive. And like, again, that ethical piece where it's like, even if you do survive, you're not really sure if you even like it. So those are some reasons why you probably don't want to work at Northwestern. At the end of the day, you just probably don't. But if you did feel like ethically I'm all set, relationally, like, I'm great, I'm Mr. Networker Extraordinaire, I'm not worried about tensions, like, that's just part of life, it's all business, it ain't personal, and I'm great with doing insurance, like, you got to sell what you got to sell. And ultimately, if you're pushing someone to do something that's, if they were just going to spend it on, ice cream anyways, like, might as well buy a financial product it's better than ice cream, right? Better than throwing it away. So I'm doing a net good for people. So my conscience is clear, and I'm willing to work 3 times as hard. I'm willing to get paid a third as much money as I would make and work for 3 times as long as I would have to work in order to finally hit a breakthrough. Like, if that's you, I think you should start your own firm. But if you really wanted to work in Northwestern, if someone really wanted to work in Northwestern, I would say go for the sales training. Like, if you actually, I want a career in sales, it's probably not insurance, it's probably not Northwestern, but I've seen like, from what I can tell, I think their sales training is really good, and I want to learn sales from this company. Then that is the perfect reason to go work at Northwestern if you want the sales training. And I'll make another video probably of, like, tips and tricks for thriving and succeeding at Northwestern, because there's some stuff they'll tell you that you really need to take to heart and run with, and there's some stuff they'll tell you that is actually really more for them than for you. So you got to play your cards right to a certain extent, but I'm not, like, anti Northwestern, but I am a little bit, right? Like, I am a little bit I am. I never sold my soul to Northwestern. I did, like, there were many silver linings, lots of things I learned through working there. But no, I would not recommend people work there. These are the main reasons why. And if you felt like you were the exception, I'd say you really ought to think about starting your own firm. Like, Northwestern probably doesn't offer you nearly as much as they cost you at the end of the day. But if you're kind of in that middle where, like, you maybe don't have what it takes to overcome all those things I just said, but you're still kind of curious, still maybe want to give it a shot anyways, I'd say as long as you know it's not a long-term answer and you're going there for the training, I think that's a great place to be, a great reason to consider going. And having that mindset affects kind of how you work and what you prioritize within the work. And I'll save that for another video, but hopefully this wasn't too jaded for y'all. Sorry it went a little bit long, a little repetitive. I'm kind of externally processing here, but thankful for y'all. I'll talk to you soon.